I mean, it's unfair on our lads, wasn't it?
Terrible. Drastic.
Oh, terrible, terrible. And that Eddie Hemmings scoring 4 runs off the last ball against Essex done me in, that did. Sacked a lot of them. But anyway, what have you been up to?
Well,
that's the key to it.
My soccer camps as usual, you know, I've been doing that. But I was also involved, Jim, in the summer in FIFA's Under-16 World Cup tournament. And would you believe Scotland got to the final play Saudi Arabia at Hampden Park.
They're having their pre-vegetarian match meal there.
Well, the Saudis were out an hour before the game, Jim. Obviously delighted to be at Hampden, you know, kissing the sacred turf. Yes, big crowd, 52,000, Jimmy, for it. In fact, the tournament took off in Scotland with great gates right throughout. And our young team, you know, got going once the tournament got underway and started playing well and got to the final on merit and did really well. And Downey, great cross for Downey rather, by Dickoff to put us in the lead.
Good goal.
Super. To tell you the truth, we play some lovely football.
Actually, you're not playing like Scottish football at all. You're playing really well here, aren't you?
Well, this is young Dickoff, who's signed by the Arsenal, Jim. How about that for a goal?
That's a great goal.
Delightful.
Yeah, goalkeeper was impressed.
He actually had a very, very good tournament.
Yeah.
Looks to be, you know, a great prospect. And as I say, it was marvellous for the fans. But having been 2 up, Jim, we did let it slip. This was Al Rashoudi.
Was it?
Scoring from this free kick.
Yes, I know him well. But they were a powerful, strong side, weren't they, Saudis? I mean,
the story was, Jim, that they were, a lot of them were over age.
Well,
and I mean, you look at them and they did look older. And I think at the end of the day, the strength of the Saudis took its toll because, you know, they were much stronger in the second half than our fellas. And,
well, 8 of them have got testimonials this year.
So they levelled it at 2-2, but unfortunately, we missed a penalty kick.
Yes.
We missed a penalty kick in the 90 minutes, and then the whole tournament then went to penalties, a penalty shootout. And Brian O'Neill, the laddie that had missed the penalty in the 90 minutes, also, I'm sorry to say, missed his vital one, Jim, in the shootout. And that cost us the tournament.
That's a shame, and it's a shame for one so young to see the tough side of football, but that's what it's all about, unfortunately. But there you are.
Well, the Saudis, as I say, very experienced side, and they handled it much better than us.
This is Ian Rushdie who took the penalty there, wasn't it?
So, Saudis are the world champions, and delighted that they were.
It's a very good tournament. I mean, I know that everybody was enthusiastic about it, so it's super.
Good. Well, the Barclays League season starts today with the news that the biggest club in the land has changed hands in a deal valued at £20 million. Martin Edwards, the Manchester United chairman, sold his 51% share of the club to Michael Knighton, an Isle of Man tax exile. Now, some United fans have been critical of the way that the club has been run in recent years. So how has the takeover been received? Martin Tyler is at Old Trafford right now.
Well, we're, 80 minutes away from the start of a new season. Not a ball kicked yet, and here we are in the middle of a major football news story, and that's largely because of the man alongside me, the new owner of Manchester United, Michael Knighton. Michael, you've said, and all the fans have read it in the papers this morning, your aim is to make Manchester United the greatest club in the world. How do you set out trying to do that?
Martin, absolutely. That is the fundamental prerequisite. That's what we must aim for. Many would argue, and I think they're right, this already is the greatest football club in the world. People say the legend is tarnished. I don't think it is. It's going to be part of my job to restore the legend and foster it.
But I think one thing that supporters have been concerned about has been the commercial side of the club seems to have taken priority over the playing side. Now, you come in from a business background, a self-made millionaire. How can you reassure the fans that your priorities are football?
I can give everyone out there watching this programme today, and more especially the fantastic Manchester United fans, that my interest is soccer. I'm a soccer enthusiast. I started my working career as in the realms of professional soccer. This is a wonderful privilege for me. I'm in no doubt of the enormous responsibility that's been bestowed upon my shoulders. This is in very safe hands indeed, I promise you.
Will you be giving money immediately to Alex Ferguson to strengthen the Manchester United squad?
As you well know, Martin, I'm not here to speculate and postulate about transfer movements. This club has always been in the market for class players, and it will continue to be so.
They were in the bottom half of the table for the first time for 15 years last season. That suggests there's a lot to be done.
There's a lot to be done. Obviously, it's a new season. Tabula rasa, clean slate. We go out there now to prove that Manchester United can hold their own in this league. We'll be there or thereabouts. I'm absolutely confident.
Welcome to the world of professional football, Michael, and good luck to you. Thanks very much for talking to us.
Martin, thank you very much. Goodbye.
He's very articulate for an ex-professional footballer, isn't he?
I believe he played till he was 16.
Yeah, Well,
what do you think?
Turn up for the books, isn't it? Hey, that one.
I mean, how much of a difference, Jim, will it make to Manchester United?
Well, since he's not playing, it's difficult to judge at the moment.
It's really about how much money he's going to be prepared to put in to buy players.
I suppose it is. I mean, I don't know whether a chairman makes a football club or not. It'll be interesting to watch this development and see how it does go on.
Right. See if he can back up his early statements.
Oh, absolutely.
Okay. Right, well, that story was just part of the jigsaw of changes that have taken place since Arsenal took the title at Anfield back on May the 26th in that dramatic finale to the season. Here's Martin again to highlight the significant moves this summer.
In the 12 weeks since Arsenal's amazing achievement at Anfield, their rivals have spent heavily to coordinate their challenge this time. For Neil Webb, it's now the red of Manchester United. As a new regime starts off the pitch at Old Trafford, Webb will be expected to stimulate success on it. This is pre-season goal against Everton in Japan. Webb now in tandem with Michael Phelan, who was outstanding at the club he captained, Norwich City. United have sold players as well. Norman Whiteside left for Everton and quickly made his own point about the move by scoring against his old club in that Far East exhibition tour. Everton's investment has been particularly high-priced. Mike Newell, born in Liverpool, is now £1 million forward after learning his trade at Crewe, Wigan, Luton and Leicester. Defender Martin Keown has worked his way north to Everton from Arsenal and Aston Villa. The fee here £750,000. And Everton have cast their eyes to Europe as well. This is Stefan Wren, who will add to the competition for places at Goodison Park. Liverpool's one big purchase, another Swedish star, Glenn Hussein, a defender with an international pedigree. At Arsenal, it's Icelander Siggy Jonsson who's made the move from Sheffield Wednesday. Jonsson scoring here against Charlton last season. He's the only new acquisition at Highbury. Other imported players are much more familiar. Much of Tottenham's title hopes are pinned on Gary Lineker, readapting to the hurly-burly of the British game. He's already had a painful reminder. North Londoner Steve Sedgley should settle quickly after his £750,000 transfer from Coventry. A former Spurs striker is also back in the First Division. Clive Allen, who sets high goal standards and therefore has kept his value. His fourth seven-figure switch has brought him from Bordeaux to Manchester City. Connection with France remains, though, with the loss to the English game of Chris Waddle. Waddle already well into the French League season with Marseille. Waddle's considerable repertoire is being revealed to a new audience. And Alan McInally has quickly made his mark in Munich. The Scottish international struck these two goals in his first appearance in the Bundesliga against Nuremberg. Bought by Bayern for more than $1 million from Aston Villa. McInally spearheading Bayern Munich's attempts to retain their West German championship. 11 of the last 14 Football League titles have gone to the Northwest, where 4 clubs make their bids this time. The Midlands also have 4 contenders. The most remarkable feature of the geographical split is the unprecedented number of London clubs, 8 in all. Chelsea have brought First Division football back to Stamford Bridge after just a one-year gap. Also in London, Crystal Palace, who are their place back in the limelight, to a pulsating climax in the playoffs.
3 minutes left as McGoldrick turns it in! That's made it sheer now!
At Highbury, the profits from their prize are being reinvested in the ground. Even more sophistication at a club which has always been proud of its style. 8 London clubs will stage First Division fare, but there'll be none at Upton Park, where Lou Macari is installed in charge of the favourites for the Second Division Championship. A West Ham without John Lyle will take some getting used to. It's a London too without Vinnie Jones, who's left Wimbledon for Leeds United, but hasn't forgotten his past. If he loses his Cup Winners' medal, Vinnie now has his own memento. And cup memories have provoked a change at Coventry City. This season, they're reverting to a style of shirts very similar to those worn so proudly at Wembley in 1987. There's pride too at Maidstone United, starting their full-time adventure. Good luck to the league's newest club. They'll play their home games at Dartford. Good luck too to the league's new president, Bill Fox from Blackburn Rovers, whose term of office has begun in such turmoil. Football must recognise the need for the brand of leadership Gordon Taylor can provide, whatever his formal position in the administrative structure of the game. Other omens are very encouraging, particularly with Barclays extending their sponsorship of the league for an additional 3 seasons. Football will benefit by £7 million. The game's appeal remains magnetic. Michael Thomas showed that when he turned himself and football's form book upside down. The challenge for football now is to follow that.
Well, some ending that was, but to the beginning of it again, back to Gordon Taylor really, and the problems there that him moving over to the Football League and the PFA stopping him here. And I can't understand the reason why they've done that.
You can't understand the players stopping him?
No, I cannot understand the players stopping him. I mean, here they would have had a very sympathetic voice on the Football League, which they've never had in the past. And the game needs a man like him, who sees all sides of the situation, to be with the Football League. Yeah,
I think it's in the players' interest, you're right enough, for him to be the chief executive. So, you know, maybe they're holding him back there. But to the football side, Jim, the big 5 are expected to be in there competing. Do you see anybody outside of that this year doing it?
No, I can't see it. Can you? Honestly, I mean, the Forest will be there or thereabouts, 1 or 2, maybe Sheffield Wednesday, who knows. But at the end of the day, it's going to be one of the big 5. And if they ever get in trouble, Ian, the chequebook will come out, they'll buy a couple of players, and away they go.
Away they go, right. Well, day 1 of the season wouldn't seem quite the same without a word from the man who can tell you what's good value at the bookies. So if you fancy a flutter, I recommend that you pay close attention to what John McCrinnick's got to say at Sandown Park. John, good afternoon.
Good afternoon, Saint. Well, down here, it's a betting ring. It's a steamy jungle, as you can imagine. And at the start of the footer season, there's a horse in the 3-5 on Channel 4, number 7, Take a Bath. Horse fancied each way, and you'll be able to collect your money after about 90 seconds of action. But it'll take nearly 9 months of torment, hope and despair before you know your fate in the football leagues. Now, shopping around among the big 3 bookies, and always remember some of the independents will go bigger prices, Liverpool are 5-4 favourites to win their 11th championship in the last 16 years. Arsenal are 5-1 to win again. Multi-million-pound club Manchester United and Spurs, and they're not short of a few bob themselves, they're 8-1. And for the best each way, that's first, second or third, how about little Norwich, the Canaries who ruffled a few feathers last season at 50-1. And the division's top scorer, well, Gary Lineker's 5-1 over Liverpool's Russian Aldridge, with Alan Smith 7-1, and at least double that, bar the 4. And there are lots of betting opportunities. Those of you who want a flutter, the bookies want your money. And in Division 2, Leeds and West Ham dominate the betting. But David Pleat's Leicester City could be a big price at 20-1. Birmingham now in the 3rd division, and that's unbelievable. And Notts County, their favourites. But that 20-1 Brentford is quite enticing. And the most open race is Division 4, with 10-1 Scunthorpe and Southend, though Grimsby could be a fair price at 12-1. And brave little Maidstone in their first Barclays League season are only 16-1 for the 4th Division title. In Scotland, Rangers, beaten last week, are 5-4 on for the Premier Division, with 15-8 Celtic and 6 Aberdeen. And as for my beloved relegated Newcastle, I doubt whether the Geordies now could beat the England cricket team the way they're playing. They're 12-1 for Division 2. But Greavesie, there's a question in a quiz in the Supporters Club magazine, The Magpie, which asks, who plays at St James's Park? And the humiliating correct answer, the team in black and white.
Thanks very much, John.
Thank you, John. I'm quite right. It is the team in black.
So if you were having a quick flutter, where would your money go?
I wouldn't have a bet because I can't see any value there. I think Liverpool will win it comfortably, Ian. I don't think they'll make any mistakes from the start this season, and I know you agree with me.